Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take complex topics, your sources, and we really try to unpack them into some clear, actionable insights. Today, we're diving headfirst into something pretty cutting edge. It's sitting right at that intersection of AI and crypto. We're talking about Grok AI. Now, you probably heard the buzz, seen the headlines maybe, but what is Grok exactly? And maybe more importantly, how is it changing the game for traders in these crazy crypto markets? Let's dig in.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Because the crypto market, well, it moves at lightning speed, doesn't it? It's famously volatile. And for years, traders have just been struggling with, information delays and also that subtle stuff, the social bias that can really skew things. So our mission today, digging into the material you sent over, is to pull out the key insights, help you understand how Grok tries to fix that problem, what it can actually do, and this is critical, what it can't do, its limitations. What's really fascinating, I think, is how different it is from the tools people might be used to. Its connection to X is, well, unique. And just quickly, before we really jump into the weeds here, if you find this deep dive valuable, maybe consider subscribing. Or leave a comment, share the episode. Your engagement, honestly, it really does help support the channel, boosts us in the algorithm, lets us keep creating this kind of deep crypto content for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a huge difference for us. Okay, so let's start with that need for speed you mentioned. Why are crypto traders even turning to AI like Grok? You know how it is in crypto. Sentiment can flip on a dime, right? And most of the, let's call them traditional tools, they're just slow, painfully slow sometimes at picking up those shifts. A lot of traders, especially retail, maybe even some pros, they're still leaning heavily on like news alerts or maybe what influencers are saying, Discord groups too.
Standard stuff.
Right. And while those things can give you signals, sure, they often come with big drawbacks in a market that moves this fast. They're delayed, sometimes just minutes, but minutes matters, right? Often hours. And maybe even worse, they're so open to social bias.
That's a key point.
Yeah, like one influencer's take or the vibe in one Discord. It's just a tiny slice, often a very skewed slice, not the whole market picture. And in crypto, that delay, that bias, it can easily mean you miss your entry or your exit, turns a potential win into a frustrating what if or even a loss.
Exactly. And that is precisely the gap, the sort of vacuum that Grok is really designed to fill. It offers this almost immediate way to address those problems. It's a conversational AI, right?
Yeah.
A sophisticated language model from Elon Musk's XAI. But the killer feature, the thing that really sets it apart, it's that direct native integration into X, the platform formerly known as Twitter.
So not just scraping it, it's part of it.
Exactly. It's not just a plugin pulling data. Grok has real-time privileged access to that fire hose of live X data. Just think about that for a second. Unlike, say, ChatGPT, which mostly works off processed, often older data or needs you to hook it up to external feeds, Grok is constantly drinking from that X fire hose. It's interpreting conversations, tracking token mentions, seeing narratives form as they happen in real time.
Wow.
It's like having this incredibly smart, tireless analyst planed right into the crypto world's collective brain, understanding not just what's said, but the feeling behind it instantly.
So yeah, it's definitely not just another data feed you pay for. It's like it's living and breathing the real-time pulse of X, digesting just an insane amount of posts, replies, trends every second. Its core value then for someone listening, for you trying to trade this stuff, it's powerful. It scans posts, identifies those subtle sentiment shifts really fast. It's built to help you spot early signals. Maybe it's the start of some meme coin craziness or a macro trend just starting to build steam, or even just those small mood changes in the market that sometimes come before the big price moves.
Right. It's a huge leap from just looking at charts.
Totally.
Huh.
Grok isn't just counting keywords. It gets the emotional tone. The overall crowd narrative shifts across thousands, maybe millions of posts. It's reading the room, the collective feeling, that underlying psychology that drives so much in crypto, often way before you see it clearly on a candlestick chart.
That leg is what it aims to eliminate.
Okay, let's make this more concrete. To really show what it can do, let's walk through a real-world example. Sometimes one story just clicks, right?
Yeah.
Think back to March 13th, 2024. Elon Musk posts a meme. Seems simple enough. It's Pepe the Frog. Internet classic, but also, crucially, the name of a big meme coin.
Right. The PPE coin.
Exactly. And what happens almost immediately, the price of PEPE jumps, like 12.2%, crosses that 0.0000009 mark, a significant fast move. Now here's the crucial part. By the time the news of why this happened, the Musk meme connection actually filtered through the usual channels, Telegram groups, news aggregators, crypto sites. That prime entry window, it was gone, slammed shut.
The opportunity evaporated.
Yeah, it was a move measured in minutes, and the old ways of getting info just couldn't keep up.
And that incident, while it's really eye-catching because the timing is so neat, it does bring up that classic point we always have to make. Correlation isn't causation.
True, good point.
The PTE move might have been purely the Musk post. But it could also have been other stuff, right? Maybe broader meme coin hype was building anyway. Maybe there was a technical setup, other social factors we didn't see immediately. But now let's replay that scenario with Grok. Imagine it in that moment. Instead of waiting for humans to see the post, analyze it, write about it, then publish it, picture Grok. First, reads the post instantly, milliseconds after it's live.
Okay.
Second, it starts parsing all the replies. Not just looking for Pepe, but using NLP, natural language processing, to gauge the sentiment. Is it positive, viral, excited?
It's reading the reaction.
Exactly. Third, it could instantly check this new catalyst against patterns it's seen before. Has this kind of post from this specific account led to pumps previously? And then fourth, based on all that lightning-fast analysis, boom, it triggers an alert. High social spike detected meme coins. Sends that to a trader. This could happen minutes, maybe even seconds, before a person could even fully process the original tweet and its likely impact. That's the speed difference.
And traders are actually doing this. This isn't just theory.
Oh, yeah. They're actively experimenting, building sentiment-driven setups using Grok. Often they're using unofficial APIs, maybe scraping tools, to connect directly to that real-time X data stream.
So they're building their own dashboards, essentially.
Kind of, and they're getting specific, defining what a real signal looks like. Like, a spike isn't just any increase in mentions. They might define it as, say, a 5 times increase in token mentions over 4 hours, but only across verified accounts or accounts with high engagement, filtering out the noise.
Smart. Filters are key.
Definitely. And then there are hints, even more subtle. Maybe repeated mentions of a partnership rumor that isn't confirmed yet, or seeing macro terms like rate cut pop up everywhere, or even weird keyword anomalies like whale buy suddenly being tied to a specific coin across multiple influential accounts.
It's about catching the wave while it's forming, not after it's already crashed on the shore. Getting that early edge by looking at the velocity, the source, the nature of the talk.
Precisely. Anticipation over reaction.
Okay, so let's zoom in on the practical side. What does this really mean for you, listening right now? Maybe you're trying to stay informed. Maybe you're actively trading. How are people actually using Grok day to day? What are the main applications?
Right, let's break down the practical uses we're seeing emerge. There seem to be 3 main ways traders are integrating this kind of capability. First up is A, real-time sentiment monitoring. This is about actively scanning X constantly for those specific market-moving phrases or sentiment anomalies. And not just basic keywords. We're talking things like floor is in, suggesting a bottom, or massive unlock, potential supply increase, whale dump, big selling pressure.
Things that really matter.
Exactly, or even macro stuff like rate cut confirm, which impacts everything. But Grok goes deeper than just spotting the words. It tries to get the context, the tone, the intent. Is someone being sarcastic? Is the mood genuinely fearful or just mimicking fear? That nuance is key.
Okay, got it. Examples.
Yeah, let's look at the data. April 2024, there was this noticeable steady rise in mentions for a token called Turbo on X. It wasn't just random noise. It was driven by developers talking about new features, giving previews, this build-up in positive chat. It actually came before a big 22% price rally for Turbo about 36 hours later.
Wow, 36 hours ahead. That's significant.
It really suggests that these sentiment tools, if they're sharp enough, can spot momentum building before it fully hits the charts. You get that lead time?
Okay, another one.
Sure. Think about the March 2024 Fed meeting update, always a huge event. Grok-powered systems reportedly flagged rising anxiety around Bitcoin specifically. Traders watching these feeds noticed the crowd's sentiment turning negative before the price actually dipped.
So like an early warning system for sentiment shifts.
Exactly. It gave some traders a chance to adjust their positions, maybe cut risk, earlier than they would have just watching the price or waiting for news headlines.
And what about divergence? When sentiment and price don't match?
Great question. February 2024, chatter around FET tokens spiked massively. Lots of talk, lots of excitement. But the price, it stayed flat, didn't move. Some traders saw that mismatch high social buzz, no price action yet as an entry signal. They figured the price would eventually catch up to the hype.
And did it.
It did. A significant breakout happened just 2 days later. The key takeaway here is Grok's combo of deep sentiment analysis and that real-time X feed. It's not just counting keywords, it's really reading the nuances during big events. CPI numbers, ETF rumors, influencer comments. It's capturing the feel of the market.
Reading the room, like you said. Okay, what's the second application?
Second is BX feed signal parsing. This leans heavily on that DirectX integration. It's about detecting momentum the instant something starts trending. It's less about what is said and more about what's gaining traction and who is driving it.
So velocity and influence.
Precisely. Traders are using it to track sudden, sharp increases in specific tickers like FET or Turbo. But crucially, they're filtering it. They want to see that spike happening across multiple verified or highly active accounts in a short period. That weeds out bot spam or isolated comments. It also involves monitoring what influencers are saying about specific tokens, especially if it gets unusually high engagement. Lots of retweets, replies. That indicates real viral spread.
Like watching influence ripple outwards in real time.
Exactly. For example, there was a 24-hour window back in February 2024 where posts mentioning Ordi just exploded, went from under 50 to over 400, and it was mainly influential traders talking about potential new exchange listings for ORDI.
Clear catalyst.
Right. And tools like Grok flagged that huge spike in narrative velocity, how fast that story was spreading, well before the ORDI price fully reflected that attention. So it helps you spot these developing stories while they're still developing, letting you be proactive instead of just reacting after the news is already everywhere. By then, the edge is often gone.
Makes sense. And the third application?
Third is C macro awareness for high time frame trades. This is using Grok to track real-time sentiment around the big picture stuff, macroeconomic events. Think CPI reports, interest rate decisions from the Fed or other central banks, major crypto regulation news. These things move the entire market, not just one coin.
So using sentiment to gauge the reaction to macro news.
Exactly. Take the December 2024 US CPI report. It showed inflation at 2.9%. Bitcoin popped briefly, crossed $98,500. Now, that move was generally in line with what the market expected. It reflected optimism about potential Fed rate cuts. Grok, by parsing all that real-time crowd reaction, can often give you a clearer, faster read on market positioning and mood than just waiting for analyst reports or headlines. This kind of insight can really help with timing capital rotation, moving between Bitcoin, stablecoins, altcoins, especially right after a big macro announcement when sentiment is shifting fast. It's a pulse check on the whole market's feeling.
Okay, so those are some really powerful applications. But you mentioned ChatGPT earlier. People know ChatGPT. How does Grok stack up against it? Are they competitors? Or do they do different things for a crypto trader? Where does each one fit in?
That's a really important question because, yeah, they're both AI, but they play very different roles. It's easy to get them confused, but understanding the difference is key to using them right. Let's focus on Grok's strength first. Like we've said, deep X integration, available for X Premium Plus users. Its absolute superpower is real-time sentiment parsing. It watches public posts live, tracks discussions as they trend, flags those early signals from the chatter. So it's amazing for catching sudden sentiment explosions, spotting viral tokens before the price fully moves, reacting instantly to breaking news discussed on X. If you need the fastest possible read on what the crypto crowd is thinking right now, Grok is the tool. It's built to be reactive, to catch signals the moment they start bubbling up.
The listener, the real-time ear to the ground.
Exactly. Now, ChatGPT's strength is different. It shines in structured analysis and information synthesis. It doesn't usually access live social feeds directly unless you connect it via APIs or plugins. Its power comes from processing huge amounts of existing information and doing complex reasoning based on your prompts. So ChatGPT is great for explaining complex trading strategies clearly, summarizing dense white papers or research, interpreting technical indicators if you give it the data. It can help backtest trading ideas conceptually, understand tricky tokenomics, even help you generate code logic for trading bots.
So more the analyst, the explainer, the strategist.
Precisely. If you need deep, structured insight, technical explanations, or help synthesizing information, ChatGPT is your go-to. It works best with historical data or when you need it to reason and explain. It usually needs more setup from you, more context.
But what's really interesting then is not picking one over the other, right? It sounds like they could work together. A synergy.
That's exactly it. It's not a competition. It's about synergy.
Oh, yeah.
We're already seeing advanced traders and dev communities pairing them up. They use Grok to identify the emerging trend, the sentiment shift from that real-time social data. Basically, Grok finds what's buzzing, how people feel.
Okay. Finds the signal.
Right. Then they pivot to ChatGPT to figure out the so what and the how. They use ChatGPT to refine a strategy based on that Grok signal, simulate scenarios, build the automation logic. Like you mentioned, the AI4 crypto GitHub repo. It has experimental scripts doing exactly this, integrating Grok sentiment alerts with backtesting logic run via ChatGPT.
So Grok says, hey, this meme coin is going nuts, and ChatGPT helps figure out, okay, how do I trade this smartly and maybe automate it?
You got it. Grok is the market listener, hearing the pulse. ChatGPT is the strategy architect, helping build the plan and the logic once that pulse is detected.
Listener and architect. I like that analogy. Okay, that clarifies the difference and the potential teamwork. But as exciting as Grok sounds, we need to talk about the limitations. It's powerful, yes, but it's not a magic money printer. What are the crucial caveats? What can't it do?
This is absolutely critical, and it's where people, especially newer traders, can get into trouble by overestimating what AI can do on its own. Grok enhances workflow, it doesn't replace judgment. First big one, no trade execution logic. This is huge. Unlike a trading bot connected to an exchange API, Grok doesn't buy or sell for you. It doesn't manage your positions. It can shout, "Sentiment is spiking for XYZ coin," but it has zero idea about your strategy. Are you risk on, risk off? What's your portfolio size? Your risk tolerance?
It finds the signal, but doesn't act on it.
Exactly. Now, sure, some advanced folks are building custom bridges to connect Grok alerts to their own automated systems, but that requires significant technical skill, careful setup, and constant oversight. Grok itself is just the signal scout. It's not the full trading engine doing the buying and selling. Human decision-making and execution are still essential.
Okay, scout, not engine. Got it. What else?
Second, no charting or technical indicator awareness. This trips people up. Grok 3 might have some very basic ability to parse some market data if you really push it, but it fundamentally lacks deep technical analysis, TA capabilities. It's not analyzing chart patterns, Fibonacci levels, RSI, MACD, Bollinger Bands.
That's not TradingView.
Not even close. For proper TA, you still absolutely need dedicated charting tools like TradingView or specific TA bots. Grok might tell you Shiba sentiment is super bullish. It will not tell you. And that's forming a bullish pennant on the 4-hour chart targeting price X. That requires different tools, different analysis.
Right. Sentiment is only one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. Third, and this is a big risk, susceptibility to noise and manipulation. Because Grok reads directly from the X fire hose, it's getting raw, unfiltered public data. And crypto Twitter, well, can be the Wild West. Misinformation, coordinated shilling campaigns, people trying to fake sentiment, it's all in there.
The data source itself can be compromised.
Precisely. During meme coin mania, groups will deliberately pump up mentions and hype to create exit liquidity for themselves. If you just blindly trust Grok's sentiment reading without cross-referencing or applying critical thinking, you could easily mistake a manipulated pump for a genuine bullish signal.
Walking right into a trap.
It's a major risk. You're trusting the crowd's words, which can be faked, not the market's actions confirmed by price and volume. A human needs to sanity check that social data.
Okay. Noise and manipulation risk. What's number 4?
Fourth, limited depth on smaller altcoins. Grok is great for big coins or things going viral, but if a coin has a small community, not much discussion on X, Grok might struggle. The data just isn't there in sufficient volume or quality for it to find meaningful signals. It might return weak signals, irrelevant stuff, or nothing at all.
So it needs enough conversation to work with.
Right. If you're trading niche DeFi stuff or tiny microcaps, you'll probably get better results combining Grok, if it gives anything, with traditional TA or, even better, on-chain analysis tools like Nansen. Those look at actual blockchain activity, not just social chat.
Use the right tool for the job, basically.
Exactly. And finally, number 5, and maybe the most important for individual traders, no built-in risk management. Grok has no idea about your portfolio size, your stop loss for a trade, your personal risk appetite. Zero. It won't warn you if you're overexposed. It won't tell you you're chasing a pump that's already gone vertical. It won't caution you if you're trading against a strong downtrend.
It provides data, not financial advice or risk assessment.
Absolutely. And this is where the human layer is non-negotiable. AI-powered trading, no matter how smart the AI, still needs human oversight for risk control, capital management strategy. Grok tells you what's hot socially. You decide if it's worth the risk, how much to risk, and how to manage the trade. It's your capital, your responsibility.
A powerful tool, but just one tool in the box, and it needs careful handling. That seems to be the message.
That's a perfect summary.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. What does this all mean for you listening? Grok is clearly a big step forward, leveraging real-time social sentiment. It offers speed, a depth that older tools just can't match. It's a really potent signal scout. But, and this is the big but, it needs to be understood, used correctly, combined with other analysis, and crucially, with your own human judgment and risk management. If you do that, it can provide an edge in this incredibly fast market. Not guarantees wins, but an edge.
Yeah, and thinking bigger picture for a moment, the rise of tools like Grok really highlights how market dynamics themselves are shifting. Information advantages, arbitrage. It's becoming less about who gets the news first through old channels and more about who has the fastest access to raw data, like social feeds, and who can process it best.
Access and processing speed become the new edge.
Exactly. Which leads to a pretty deep question, doesn't it? In a world where AI can digest real-time social chatter faster than any human, how does that change what a market signal even is? And maybe more critically, what new responsibilities does that put on us, on traders like you, to really question those AI signals? To understand where they came from, their potential flaws, before acting, it's a new layer of critical thinking required.
That is definitely something to think about, how the nature of signals themselves might be changing in the age of AI. A lot to mull over there. Well, we hope this deep dive gave you some really valuable insights, maybe some surprising details to consider. Thanks so much for joining us for another deep dive. We're looking forward to exploring more of these fascinating intersections of tech, finance, and AI with you next time.